Hello guys, welcome back to Enso Chess. Sorry I didn't upload it in a while. Yeah, it's been a while. Like almost a week. But how are you all doing? Today we're gonna review a game of mine that I just recently played. And it had its ups and downs. Try to guess the time control that was for it in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And let's get to it. So first off, we had e4, e5. I'm playing white. I wanted to play a good old Jobava London, where basically you take out your knight and you just target this weak square. It's considered weak because it's only protected by one piece, but it can easily be avoided if you like play a6 or the main line, which is usually knight. Yeah. But in this one, we didn't really actually get a job of London because they played this. So we went through. Let me actually go through move by move. I'm using the game review of chess.com. So after they played this, I just wanted to develop my pieces normally. No weird stuff, not trying to do tactics. Even though the Jobava London is made for tactics like the Alien Gambit and so on, I like to normally just develop and go on, you know? He plays this, which is a mistake, which I assume would actually weaken his light squares here. Like if my queen was here, that would be a big problem. But just wanted to play normal London. Like I haven't played an actual full London. I've been playing normally Joe Buffer London, and yeah, he plays knight out. Usually, you would actually want to get this pawn out, which is a good move. I don't know why it says this, but yeah, usually you would want to get this pawn out. Let's say I play here. So you can get your knight out, because your knights aren't really doing anything in the when the queen's pawn games. If you don't know what that is, it's when you play your queen's pawns, because they're more tight locked, unlike the e4 pawns. Because the reason they tight locked, because the queen is protecting it always, but e4 pawns are not protected by the kings, because kings can't look. Yeah, so it's more tactical or more aggressive game if you play e4. If you want a longer game, you play d4 usually. Let's continue. So we continued. What I was planning to do was I just wanted to trade off my knight for his bishop, because I was like, yeah. But I fell in a tactic actually. I didn't realize that since my bishop and knight are aligned, that they could, like this, get forked. So I missed it, and I got forked. This is a mistake. What happens if I take? Okay. Ah. Okay, so what if I went like this? Okay. So I took there, and I didn't know what to do. So I just took, and as you can see, I'm losing. So I realized that, and I'm not very happy. So I move on. He attacks my knight. I move it up, because I hate moving it back twice. The recommended move, though, let's see, was what? He take. What if he takes? That gets my bishop lined up. He has to do this because if he takes the pawn, it's a blunder because it's a fork. And he actually has to block of his king because his king is... Yeah, that's not nice. But I didn't see it. We go through. I did like this. why I did this, my idea was I take to develop my rook and actually potentially get this pawn because it's very weak. It's a pawn island because it has no other pawns near it. So this would also be a pawn island actually. So move on. We trade off. I do win that pawn that I mentioned before. He moves his king out. I think the computer might have wanted to castle. But yeah. Computers be computers. Let's see what happens now. And he moves here. What? They had a better way to avoid the check. I assume they wanted him to not really to have the king in safety, like to get the king maybe in the corner or something, because the rooks, everything is still in the middle game. It's technically end game, but everything is still getting active, so you never know what might happen. See. So we move on, and I was winning. Yeah. And I played a great move. If you didn't notice, I was just looking after this pawn because if he would take my pawn here. So I was thinking if I could take, let's say he moves here. No, damage. Let's say he moves here. I'll just be happy getting that. You see, maybe I could even try to do some discovery and nonsense. Yeah, I know it's losing, but that's what I'm just giving. He moves here. It's a blunder. Interesting. Gave up a pawn. Oh, yes, that's what the opponent did. He took. I forgot. You must always have some awareness, like what is doing which pawn is doing what. This pawn was looking at this square and this square. I forgot that and I moved it up. What I didn't realize was this pawn was unprotected, which he could take. Furthermore, weakening this pawn, making this a pawn island, as we spoke about earlier. So it will probably get taken. But not now, because if you didn't realize why I moved my rook all the way down, I pin it. If this were to move, I would take his rook, which would make me winning. Was that what actually happened? That actually happened. So he blundered his rook, making me getting back into the game. I wanted to trade off everything, because if I could get off this it would be a rook versus a bishop, which I guess it would be winning, but it's still kind of tricky. I didn't want to take here, because he would fork me and I would lose a pawn eventually. So I blocked him, but what I realized was my rook is totally trapped. I can't move here because it does nothing. Can't move here because of the knight. Can move here, but it's still trapped. Can't move here because of the king. So like I was trying desperately just to trade off my pieces and get my rook active, which I see is a problem. We play. Then he takes my pawn. What I realized was I could move my rook sooner or later. Looks like there's a blunder. A skewer. Let's see what's a skewer. Interesting. So we move on, we play, and he makes this mistake. I think, yeah, he made this mistake because remember my rook was inactive. It couldn't do anything. Now I could get my rook out in the game and get him. I was looking actually to trade off. The reason why I attacked the knight was to trade off. Yes. So we move. I assume that they just wanted me to get my king active, because in chess we would like to get to the center our kings in the end games at least. So I didn't follow principles, and as you can see it's equal now. Even though I was up. Ooh, and I'm winning. That's the pawn he left hanging. He left another pawn hanging. He left another pawn hanging. I'm winning now. And this is where I realize I'm totally winning. If you're wondering why I couldn't take this pawn, is knight. Yeah. Then I'll be totally winning. So we play. He moves his knight and I just queen. I checkmate him. The reason why, so if you're wondering why did I sacrifice, I just showed you that there was a checkmate being threatened. He couldn't actually take this, exactly as the computer shows. He had to block, and even so, it just still resulted in a checkmate sooner or later. Well, this is all, folks. Thank you for watching. And don't forget to like and subscribe, as I said in the beginning. And this is Ansel Chess. See you later in the next video.